Hello, and welcome to Meditation with Dana St. Clair. As it turns out, I'm Dana St. Clair, and these are the temple gongs. During the course of our time together, I will do some talking, and I will guide a meditation, probably about 15 or 20 minutes, with the gongs. As the gongs are sounding, simply allow the tones to move through you. They can have a pretty incredible effect deep, deep inside of you. And to me, that's really the most interesting thing about us humans, is the deep, deep inside of us. We've lived in an interesting world in the sense that we have been taught that there is something wrong with us, that we are not adequate. And many times during the course of life, during the course of our day unfolding, as someone talks to us or as we speak to ourselves, inside ourselves, a lot of times we're speaking very harshly. I mean, don't you find that you speak more harshly to yourself than you ever would to any other human being, except for maybe your children? We do save some pretty harsh energy and pretty harsh words for our own children sometimes, and those other people that we care deeply about. What I would like to share with you today is something from the material of a man named John Randolph Price. Now, it could be that you have heard of the World Healing Meditation that happens on December 31st at Greenwich noon. Now, this year is, I believe, the 12th annual meditation event on December 31st at exactly the same time, at Greenwich noon. Millions of people all over the world are meditating together at exactly the same time. And what they are meditating on is world healing and world peace. But truly, doesn't that healing begin within each of us? Isn't the healing and the peace that will soothe and harmonize our world finding its strength and its enlivening power within you? It's your healing and your peace and the relationships that you create through healing and through peace that eventually will heal our planet. But what an incredible opportunity for so many people all over the planet at exactly the same time, meditating together on world peace and world healing. When I first heard about these meditations, which as it turns out, I believe was the very first time that it happened, I thought, who in the world started this? Who is making this happen? Years later, just a few years ago, I heard the name John Randolph Price. And a friend of mine gave me one of his books because in the back of this particular book was the text that John Randolph Price had created for the World Healing Meditation. Well, as it turns out, I looked through the text, but I did not read any of the rest of the book. And this had to have been 3 or 4 years ago. Well, earlier this year, someone suggested to me one of John Randolph Price's books, which is called The Abundance Book, and it's a small green book. And as I read that, I thought, my gosh, who are you? Because the material was so resonant and so vibrant inside of me. Well, I remembered as I was reading this little green book that indeed someone had loaned me one of his books, and I thought, gee, I wonder where in the world it could be, because I was pretty sure I hadn't given it back. Well, one day I was down in our basement, and you'd really have to see the wilderness of free association that is our basement to appreciate this, but I walked by a box that had a lid on it. And I thought, I wonder what's in that box. I lifted up the lid, and there, laying flat on top of the box, was the book by John Randolph Price. So I said, "Oh, thank you very much," picked up the book, and began reading it. And this whole year, I've had an incredible time with the material of John Randolph Price. What I would like to share with you today comes from one of his books called The Angels Within Us. Very extraordinary book. I've had an incredible time with this book. I open it, and it's this ongoing conversation, I guess, between me and the Divine Presence, because it's just wonderful how it says, well, you know, this is what you were just thinking about, and here's what you can do with it, or in order to heal this particular pain or whatever. So I have really had a very enlivening time with this book. But here's what I would like to share with you today. The bottom line is, when we truly commit our lives to Spirit, then Spirit is in charge of our lives. And there is nothing to worry about regardless of how difficult the situation appears. And how can we tell if we have given everything up to the Lord and Master Self within? By the measure of our patience. Don't you love it? The measure of our patience. Knowing that every activity is divinely timed. And by the degree of our acceptance, which means to accept our good even when it is not yet visible. We should also ask ourselves if we have consented to having our needs met by the activity of the Divine Self, rather than the ego of personality. I want to share something with you that has meant a great deal in my life, and it is this. I cannot accidentally fall or be pushed from the train of life, regardless of my thought, word, or deed. In fact, there is nothing that I have ever done or will ever do that would warrant my expulsion from this sacred place of the Most High, from those everlasting arms represented by the train of life. And that holds true for every soul in the universe. We tend to come down pretty hard on ourselves when things seem to be out of kilter. And we look for the spiritual sin, or the metaphysical cause, the emotional block. We think of past life transgressions, karma, and the guilt that must be punished by universal retribution. So much of this is nonsense. We keep condemning ourselves because we do not feel spiritual or because we think that we have violated some metaphysical law. You have down days, and so do I. You have felt a financial pinch, and I have too. You have suffered spiritual constipation, and so have I. And you may have felt so out of it spiritually that you were tempted to desert the path and find an easier road to travel. I have too. There have been times when the door to my meditation space could not be unlocked, when affirmations were a bore, and when all I wanted to do was play Earthman with all the gusto of a roguish hedonist, which I considered a form of rebellion against this spiritual stuff. And do you know what my Master Self said about all of this? Paraphrased in my words, quote, "It's really no big deal. It's just some old energy moving to the surface to be transmuted. Quit worrying so much about where and how you strayed, and get on with the business of living. Just be yourself. whatever that particular self is being on any given day. No one is keeping score on how many times you have felt a touch of anger, anxiety, or uncertainty. And you are not booed by the universe if you are not on top of the world every moment. So stop straining so hard to be spiritual. You already are. Everyone is. So relax and enjoy the ride. What I came to realize was that God created me, loves me, accepts me for who and what I am, has infinite patience with me, and that it is impossible for me to interrupt the divine process. I cannot leave the train of life, and neither can you. The truth is that we are all going home together. So the next time futility hits you or things seem to be falling apart, be patient with yourself and accept the fact that there is no use worrying about your problems because everything is going to be all right. Just relax in those everlasting arms and enjoy the ride. Well, I would like to ask you to close your eyes for the next few minutes, maybe 10 or 15. You're also welcome if you'd like to leave your eyes open. But by closing your eyes, you really center and deepen into yourself. You step into your sacred peace. You step into the places in yourself that, as it's said in the material, you already are. And by closing your eyes, it allows you to deepen. You're certainly welcome to leave your eyes open as well. Yourself to center in your heart. And as you are centered in your heart, become aware of your breathing. Yourself inhaling deeply, slowly. And as you exhale, release completely. Feel the effect that slow, mindful breath has as you quiet, as you settle. As much as possible, keep your attention with your breath. And if you find that your thoughts take you out of this moment, out of the room that you are in, when you notice that you are somewhere other than here, gently yet firmly bring yourself back to your breath. Bring yourself back to your heart. And focused in your heart, feel those everlasting arms around you. Feel as if warm and soothing arms of golden light are wrapped around you, And you are in an embrace of caring, of acceptance, of compassion. Allow this feeling of compassion and caring to seep into you. Feel yourself like a sponge absorbing the compassion, the caring, the peace. And as you sit quietly within yourself, wrapped in these golden arms, sense what is right with you. So many times we focus on what is wrong with me. For these next several moments, as I sound the gongs, focus on what is right. What is right with me? And you don't so much need to think about separate different things, but allow the feeling, allow the sense of rightness. Allow the sense of what is right with me to completely pervade your emotional nature, to completely move throughout your sense of self and your identity, and to fill your mind with a knowing that you are accepted by the Divine Presence just the way you are. You don't have to go anywhere, do anything, be anybody else except who you are. As I sound the gongs, allow yourself to be deeply touched within by what is right with you. relaxes and releases into this feeling, into this sense of rightness. Feel how you relax into the sense of acceptance. Focused in your heart, filled with a sense of what is right with you. In the eye of your mind, see the different people in your life and see what is right with them. See your children, your parents, your co-workers, your friends, and see how beautiful each of these people is in their own unique way. And see how right they are being exactly who they are. And let this extend outward through your life and beyond. And feel that place in you that needs to criticize. That criticizes you, that criticizes others that you know, that criticizes those you know only by reputation. Feel that part in you relaxing, releasing. Because on the other side of that energy that is so tangled up in criticism, as that critical energy is released, what you find is compassion. What you find is understanding. And a depth of self-kindness that allows you, that encourages you, that enlivens you to be kind and compassionate to others. As I bring this meditation to a close, I'm going to sound the sacred tone of Om 3 times. You are welcome to join me with your voice or with your ears. But know that as the sacred tone is sounded, that the benefit, the blessing, the compassion of this meditation moves throughout you and into and throughout your work, your life, your play, your touch, your expression, your relationships, and beyond, into the world of humankind, into our planetary life. Consciously send blessing and benefit as we sound the Om. I will sound the gongs, drawing the meditation to a close. When it is comfortable for you, you may open your eyes. On what's wrong. It's easier to criticize than to acknowledge in a positive way. I would like to suggest to you that as you observe your own thoughts, as you observe your own inner dialogue, hear what you say to yourself about yourself and about others. Hear what you say. And realize the incredible effect you have in your environment, in your home, in your workplace, in your school. Realize the incredible effect that your attitude, your words, the tone of your voice has as you move through your daily life. At the end of the day, as you lay with your head on your pillow, go back to the beginning of the day when that day started and move through watching not only the events of the day as it unfolded, but also how you felt, what you thought, what you said, how you contributed, how you affected life around you. This is without judgment, without self-criticism, simply observation, simply being aware of how you are feeling, what you are thinking, and the effect that you are having in your world, in your life. I will sound the gongs, and you can simply enjoy the bathing, soothing tones.